Welcome to another Chef Knives to Go Quick Look product review. I'm Steve Gamache, and what we're looking at is the Goko White No. 1 Nashiji finished Honesuki 150 millimeter knife. So what all that means is the core steel on this line of knives is Shidogami or white paper No. 1 Hitachi high carbon reactive steel. And the heat treat, they shoot for about 60 Rockwell on that, so they don't take it super hard, so a little bit of forgiveness there with their heat treat. The construction is a 3-layer sandwich with a stainless steel, softer stainless cladding on either side of that core steel. So the only reactive steel is going to be right at the edge. And Shidogami No. 1 is one of those steels that's among the easiest to sharpen steels out there, and it takes a tremendously wicked edge. So these things will sharpen up like a breeze, and they're not, the edge retention isn't outstanding, but they're so doggone easy to sharpen that that's okay for most people. So nothing quite like Shidogami No. 1. The weight on these are about 107 grams or 3.8 ounces, and they're going to vary a little bit because they're hand forged, so knife to knife will vary just a little bit. The edge length on this one was right about 150, 5.9 inches, and the overall length about 11.3 inches. The spine thickness, again, will vary, but this one coming out of the handle is about 2.9, almost 3 millimeters above the back of the blade. And then in a Honesuki, they don't always taper off too much, so it tapers off just a little bit, but retains that stiffer spine until you hit that kind of reverse sword tip towards the end of the blade where it thins down with the grind. So the whole idea of these Honesuki knives is they are Japanese boning knives, especially for poultry, so they're pretty stiff. The blades are stiff, and they've got a nice pointy tip on them for precision work through joints and such. Blade height on this is about 40.3 millimeters, and the handle is an octagonal ambidextrous walnut with a black packerwood ferrule, and the size of the handle is about 78 millimeters and 3.1 inches, where the ferrule meets the main part of the handle, the wood, and so it's a little bit bigger than some knives, but traditionally the Honesukis are a little bit bigger, so you've got something good to grip onto. This has a great spot back here, the back of the blade, the choil, into the neck, where you've got lots of room for a pinch grip. So you can hold this a few different ways, but you can choke it up for a pinch grip to get some control over that tip for detail work. And this had a pretty nice out-of-the-box edge. I'd say about a 6 out of 10. So if we look closely at the blade here, we've got the Nashiji, or what's known as a pear skin finish, kind of a mottled finish. And we've got hand-chiseled kanji. It's kind of a, not a deep hand chisel, but it is there. So that's their style. They don't chisel them super deep, but that's consistent through their knives. And so this Nashiji finish is kind of a refined rustic effect. So you've got a little bit of polish and edge relief on the spine, as well as the choil into the neck. So very comfortable right out of the box. Really nothing you have to do to prep them. You may want to sharpen them a little bit to kind of expose some fresh steel from the factory edge, but you can also get to work right away with it. Here's your spine. And the other interesting thing about this knife, it's a double bevel. So a lot of Honesuki knives are oriented towards right-handers, where they've got a flat left side and a bevel on the right side. This is a double bevel 50-50 grind. So this is good for lefties or righties, and I'm a lefty, so I appreciate that. Some other brands also have 50-50 grinds on their Honesuki knives. Masakage is one, but again, this is a 50-50 grind. And you're not going to do a lot of typically board work with these, but let's take a look at it just in case you might want to. These are known to have a high performance and value for the hand-forged knife. Shidogami No. 1, they're just a high-value line, so they're made well, and just a good no-frills handmade knife with nice, pretty nice fit and finish, refined rustic aesthetic to them. So here's your profile. This is not really typically for board work, but you could do some board work if you wanted to. So just a good solid example of a double beveled 50-50 Honesuki knife. Stainless cladding over reactive carbon for ease of maintenance and gets super sharp. There you have the Goko White No. 1 or Shidogami No. 1 Nashiji finish Honesuki 150 millimeter knife.